Hello everyone, welcome back to a new post today. And we all know that we have the fundamental duties in the Indian Constitution which spell out certain duties as citizens that we have towards our country and our motherland. We also have the directive principles of state policy, which are the duties of the state. So they are like instruments of instruction to the executive and the legislature. The instruments of instructions was a document and a group of instructions that were given by the British to the governors and the governor generals in the British colonial period in India. So we also have the sustainable development goals as well, and we have various conservation practices. So Article 51A(g) says that to protect environment, protect and improve the natural environment, including the forest, wildlife, lake, rivers, and have compassion for living creatures. Article 48A, which was inserted by the 42nd Amendment Act, says protection and improvement of environment, safeguarding forests and wildlife. Sustainable Development Goals 15 speaks of life on land, that's conserving the life on land. 14 speaks about life underwater, conserving life underwater. And 13, the Sustainable Development Goal 13 speaks of climate action, therefore conserving the environment. So why am I speaking of the environment or conservation today? Yes, so the next big news with regard to conservation is the 2025 World Conservation Congress that is held once in 4 years under the International Union for Conservation of Nature. And very recently, with regard to conservation, we had something called as the High Seas Treaty, and this is the next big news today because it is none other than UAE, that is the United Arab Emirates, has won the bid to conduct the 2025 World Conservation Congress of the International Union for the Conservation of Nature. Now, the World Conservation Congress is the world's largest and the most important gathering of conservationists, and it is expected to draw more than 10,000 delegates from all over the 160 countries. The UAE has long history of environmental protection, and it is a home to a number of important conservation initiatives, including the Sheikh Zayed Desert Learning Center and the Ain Oasis as well. The 2025 World Conservation Congress will be held in Abu Dhabi from October 10th to 21st, 2025. That's the next World Conservation Congress, and the event will be an opportunity for the conservationists all around the world to come together to discuss the most pressing environmental challenges facing our planet. The World Conservation Congress is also expected to produce a number of important resolutions and recommendations that will help to guide the future conservation efforts, and this is at a very correct time in 2025 because we are just 7 years away to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And also the United Nations Framework Convention of Climate Change speaks about the urgency to conserve the environment and especially reducing the impact of climate change and global warming as well. Now, the IUCN World Conservation Congress will be held in Abu Dhabi. The previous one of 2021 was held in France. So what exactly is this World Conservation Congress? It is the Congress that is held once in 4 years under the IUCN and brings together several thousand leaders and decision makers, not only from the governments but also civil society, indigenous groups, business, academia, with the goal of conserving the environment and also harnessing solutions to offer global challenges. The Congress aims to improve how we improve and manage our natural environment from human, social and economic development. But this cannot be achieved by the conservationists alone. And if you see, the participation not only involves the governments but also the civil society, peoples, businesses, academia, with the goal of conserving the environment. The IUCN Congress is a place to put aside the differences and work together to conserve the environment and engage all parts of the society who are stakeholders for a clean and green environment that is conserved. And also they can share both the responsibility as well as the benefits of conservation, and therefore this is such a wide-ranging participation, not only consisting of governments. Now, the most recent Congress, as I told you, held one in 2021 in September in France. So let's look briefly about the IUCN. It was established in 1948 and it is evolved into a world's largest and most diverse environmental network. Today, the organization is known for its knowledge products, the ones we have always learned, especially during the UPSC preparation with regard to environmental protection, etc. These include the red list species, the red list of ecosystems, the key biodiversity areas, and also the green list as well, which are widely used in setting conservation priorities for the threatened species, ecosystems, and an identification of the important areas for protection recommendations for protection. The recommendations will guide the future conservation efforts. Now, the IUCN is headquartered at Switzerland. Let us look at some of the important current and the recent work of the IUCN, which will definitely be helpful for you. In 2016 now, the IUCN brought out a new membership category for the Indigenous Peoples Organization, and it also brought out something called as the IUCN program for 2017 and 20 for conserving nature and biodiversity, which is linked to sustainable development and also poverty reduction. Now, the IUCN program of 2017 and 20 identifies 3 priority areas. They are valuing and conserving nature, promoting and supporting effective and equitable governance of natural resources, deploying nature-based solutions to address societal challenges, including climate change, food security, economic and social development. So, conservation not only increases the advantages of the environment to the human race, but also it is most important for sustainable development. That is why we have something called as the Sustainable Development Goals. We also have conservation as an important topic under the UPSC GS paper 3. Many a times conservation comes up in the forms of essays and also 250 word answers as well. And recently, because we have now brought out the High Seas Treaty, which is now in the process of ratification, and now having the World Conservation Congress to be held after a gap of 5 years. So the last one was held in 2021. This, I'm sure, is an important topic to follow and build upon. So I hope this information was really helpful to you all, and if you did like, do share, subscribe, and don't forget to comment as well. I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.